This is Judge Joe Brown, and we're listening to We All Be News. News-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Yeah, this is all being worked out right now with the licensing.
Right. And that's been worked out with the
But when does it go on sale after it's done?
well,
That's what we're working at. The Memphis premiere, like I said, is November 1st, and then it'll show again on the 5th. And I think they're working some of the details of that out right now. A lot of this, the Mississippi Valley collection at U of M is where we got a lot of the archival Memphis footage that you see when you can see, like, you know, an exit from Macklemore Avenue, and some of it's from the news channels. Unfortunately, the news channels had a bad habit of taping over a lot of their stuff because we really wanted footage of the day that John B. said they went home and they were blaming them for the riot on the local news. We have the national news where they mentioned meeting with Dr. King earlier in the day he was assassinated, but unfortunately a lot of the local footage is not there. So all that stuff's being worked out as far as the licensing and everything. But we do have a Facebook page. If you go on Facebook and look at the Invaders movie, you can follow details like that there. I'll leave it up to these guys.
okay, you do want to get a picture.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, quick question.
Oh,
Oh, I saw a camera. Go ahead.
oh yeah, it was kind of fun. Yeah, I want to commend you all for your service and sacrifices and whatnot. Cause we're still fighting America's longest war, but I want to commend y'all for the sacrifices, the sleepless nights, and all the other stuff you had to go through. Cause like Dr. King said, it takes the creatively maladjusted people to get things done. It's all about the unreasonable people that get things done in a very insane world. But my thing is this, like with the social media thing, last week it came out once again about Jesse Jackson being maybe a operative or informant or agent. And I was looking at it, they also named Billy Cowles as well. And I'm not saying that this is on the social media, I'm just telling, I'm just being a messenger. And also I heard it was concerns raised about Charles Cabbage maybe being compromised as well. I just want to get y'all thoughts about, this thing about what agents and whatnot, and what you consider an agent.
Well, let me comment on that. One of our most significant chronicles of the civil rights movement was said to be an agent, Ernest Withers Sr. And what Ernest Withers told the FBI was no more than what anybody could have told the FBI. They are meeting. Where are they meeting? At Cleveland Temple at 6 o'clock. So what you have to understand is when people ask you questions and you are who you are, they're who they are, you give them the essential answer to get them out the hell out of your face or to save your life. I can say for a fact, the only person that I know who was an agent was Morrell McCulley. We went to high school together. I didn't know what he, I'm sorry. I didn't know what he was doing. He came to me one day and said, Clarence, what are you doing down here? I was downtown. I was just downtown seeing what was going on and writing my little writings as I was doing in general. And I said, that's strange. Why would Morrell want to know what am I doing downtown? What is this all about? 3 weeks later, I saw him again. And then when I saw him with John Dean one day, I asked somebody, I said, why is he with you all? And they said he was the Minister of Information. What was your answer? Or something. And I went,
He had a car.
yeah. but again, that's because he was a young boy out of Mississippi who wanted to be an American, and he thought telling stuff on other folks would get him to be who he could be, etc. But you have to be careful too. You gotta remember that there are double agents, there are all kinds of things. And when people start telling you who's doing what to whom, then you have to wonder why they're telling you what they are doing to who. What are they trying to do? And that's my answer to that.
We had a settlement agreement in Black Student Association of Shepherd University down in 1969. Well, Pope A.L.L. McCullough followed us around for 3 months. She showed up on camera. We had picked him out early. And we found out through the Freedom of Information Act he had written a whole report on us. But he did a good one because we didn't smoke dope, we didn't do any of that junk. But he was following us and wanted to go everywhere we wanted to go, but we never could follow him. He was our agent, real.
And he became CIA later on too. He was Central Intelligence.
Yeah.
Now, one of the central themes of the documentary, and I really appreciate it, is the depth into which we try to explain COINTELPRO, the counterintelligence program. It was not just that individuals did things. And in the last year, I have discovered some people, no, Cab was not one. I've discovered some people. I was introduced after the King assassination by the police inspector and his son to Morrell in the police department as a police officer.
Wow.
At that time, he was trying to get me, he said, you know, you're okay, but the rest of these guys you're involved with are criminals. So I already knew what that meant. Do you want to come and tell? What I want to tell the young brothers and sisters who are in the Black Lives Matter, and be very careful because most people are asking for a job. The most available job is to be an informant. So what we have to do is guard ourselves against every temptation. When somebody says you can have a nice house, a pool, and a Benz, they want you to snitch.
I should have snitched.
They could have, look, they for all the money they spent watching us, following us, doing other things, they could have given us the money. We would have been very inspired to have that kind of money to do the organizing we wanted to do. Remember several things. We stopped gang fighting in Memphis.
Absolutely.
Ice cold, stopped it. Without question. You couldn't go from here back to Dixie Home without a good wood. Man or woman. We stopped that. Charles Cabbage and Jim, where'd John go? I don't think people really recognize how courageous some of these young men and women were. You know, it was not easy. It was tough. One of the policemen who was in charge of watching us was a guy named Ed Reddick. You could not have had a better person to watch you and try to take care of you. Herman Seaman was on the police department. Herman used to give me rides. I told him, I said, look, I went down, I saw him at an apartment down from my house, and I went in there, and I thought he was coating on his wife. So I went, I said, brother, you got you know, we've been church members. Our families are close. You can't be doing this. Then I saw all the photographic equipment and everything, and he informed me what he had to do for his job. So I said, well, look, in that case, you can't ever keep up with me. Why don't you just give me a ride where I'm going? So it was not like a lot of people think. And the article on Ernest Withers, and I'm glad Ron is here, as the last surviving male in the Withers clan. People ought to know this. We loved Bobby like he was our father. You know, there were times when he would come when you needed money. Never gave me any. But the kind of encouragement you get. Now, when we got back down to Memphis from Atlanta, he did have us take a picture right under the FBI office. We didn't know it was the FBI office. I wish he had told us. But there were times when men like Ed Reddick and men on the police department, Ernest Withers, would protect us, and they did a good job of that. We didn't have a life expectancy of more than 15 minutes. You know, a lot of you don't know that. John is not going to tell you about the time they set him up, tried to kill him or whatnot. A lot of us did get shot. Sakura was stabbed and shot. Who was it?
Beaten in Forest City, Arkansas, tried to lynch in Forest City doing it for years.
Now, this was not a popular thing to do, but there were people who took care of us who were not policemen. OWP.
Yeah.
There were people who did things for us, like A.W. Willis, that are not on the records. And there were people who we believed in who didn't do anything for us. Let me tell you now, I love being Lewis. I love Maxine Smith. I used to work for Jesse. Huh? You know, Muffin and I talk all the time. There were people like, you saw pictures of Big John Smith and Sheila Smith. There were people who were in the Invaders who were interesting. Ronnie Bond was the biggest pimp in New York. And he took time to help protect people. There were all kinds of people that you never think about who were inspirational. I learned from the Lee family, and I understand Joan is in the hospital right now. Joan taught me about Ada B. Williams. You know, that kind of thing cannot be replaced in a person's life. So what we need to do is find out who these people are. You just do not know who these heroes are. See, you know, we don't always talk and get along. I haven't seen John's brother worked with me at the cotton testing station. And, you know, can you imagine from the cotton fields to the cotton testing station? I thought that was a big job. I got to be a GS3. So when I met John was roommates with my brother-in-law, my late brother-in-law. And these guys had good jobs. I mean, they worked for the depot. They had a shop apartment. We didn't have many places we could go and sit down for a weekend and have a party. John could throw those parties. So you'll never know the kind of movement between people that occurs. Young black people, David Acey and whatnot, DK, and this man here, a lot of y'all, that's DK over there. Okay, a lot of these people made it possible for us as a community to move up. You couldn't buy furniture at these little stores before Polk opened it up. You couldn't have a good apartment. You couldn't have a knowledge about jobs. These people, there's a question.
No, sir.
What we want to do though is give each of you an opportunity to have a mentor. Something like that. Because we do want to, and we'll be going beyond this moment. But as an organization, we want to say happy birthday to Asala and to salute you. Yes.
And as well as extend the invitation for membership.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
We were talking about informants, and what people have to remember is that we grew up under segregation. Everybody talked to the white folks. Everybody talked. If they asked, you talk. You couldn't say, I ain't saying nothing, because it was segregation. And I'll tell you something about Mr. Willis. His son, if we call him Winnie, his name was Wendell. He was an invader. His daddy didn't want him to be an invader, but he was an invader anyway. And Winnie was telling me, he talked to Mr. Willis about why he talked to the f.b.i. And he told him, I'm a photographer, I'm a newsman. There are a lot of things that happen to us that I take pictures of. And if I didn't talk to the police or the f.b.i. to get information to go along with those pictures, there's a lot of stuff that wouldn't be known about people that happen in the South. If you see a picture of Emmett Till, Ernest took those pictures. And he should be one of the most honored individuals out of Memphis. Because for years, if his camera didn't get it, it wouldn't be here. We wouldn't know it ever happened. And he didn't get any credit. He wasn't making money for it. He was doing things that put him in danger, caused people to spread rumors about him and lie on him, but he did it anyway. He didn't spend time trying to explain to why he was doing or what he was doing. He was being a hero, the kind of hero that moved us as a people in terms of telling the world what was happening to us down here in the Mid-South. This was a hell of a place to grow up in. This was a hell of a place to live in. And if we didn't get the word outside of Memphis to where people, other places knew, it would have been worse than that. And it hurt me so much that Mark Pereskill, the one that did the damage, came all the way to Atlanta to interview me about what was going on. And I told him, same thing I'm telling you now. He goes back and the story he does that he makes wins the Pulitzer Prize repeated the same lie. The same lie about Mr. Willis. And I don't know whether we will ever be able to get it straight or to clear his name in any way. But I try to tell the story that I know of Mr. Willis. Any chance I get, because he's someone that a statue should be somewhere just to let the world know the kind of man he really was and what he tried to do and the way that he documented stuff and things that happened to us without his camera being there would never have been known.
I want to say this. I appreciate John. You know, I have to say something because I'm in the last of the sons, and I have to try to tell you because I was involved in the movement. I saw 80% of those pictures were part of Daddy's files, and it is an ongoing situation going on now as far as trying to maintain these pictures. Because it had always been said that the person who killed Dr. King are in the files of the Woods. Now, I don't know who it is. All I know that they want the files, and they've been trying to do everything that they can to get the files, our files. And they want them so they can put them in somewhere and bury them, and y'all won't never know nothing what happened. My brother, Wendell, three of my brothers, all three of us was on, and I'm a Man, the last march of Dr. King. It wasn't just Ernest Withers, but his sons. We all did pictures. So not only you saw pictures of what he did, but his sons were in Birmingham, Alabama, taking pictures. He took his son to Little Rock. He took us to the March Against Fear. So his involvement was involving his children, and that's why our involvement is today. Is a movement today is a concern of the whole community. It's to educate the community to bring truth about it. I looked at Mark Pereskill and they said on tape just a minute ago, the same people who accused Daddy as being an informant was the Memphis Press Cemetery. They are the ones who was informants. They said that Miss Pittman was an informant for them, and they was paid. And they didn't say nothing until after my dad had died, that he had some participation. Of course, there was some discussion. Our line was tapped all the time. But Commercial Appeal did not bring anything out until Daddy died, which was really sad to try to hit a man in the back of the head when he's dead. And I end on this point, that I looked in the files, you know, they've been following it, probably somebody here now, you know, who's gonna go make a dossier, but it don't matter to me because I don't have anything to hide. But it's my job to make sure that the history is being told and put into the right curriculum. And also that I looked in there and I saw that the files go all the way back to my granddaddy was being accused as a communist. So, you know, when you stand up, you know, you're going to be mentioned in some good, especially trying to do good for your people.
On the 19th of August, I turned 78, 2 years short of 80 years. And I've been involved in the movement since 1968, 48 years, 2 years short of a half a century, and I'm still out here fighting. In terms of Daddy Withers, I call him Daddy Withers, Baba Withers. See, back during those days, what you did, you told Caucasian people what they needed to hear, not what they needed to know. That's how you threw them off. So that was the strategy that we used. Tell them what they want to hear, not what they need to know. I was once the FBI and all of them came to the studio down on Hill Street and turn over the tables and those pictures everywhere. Daddy Withers told the brothers, get out. Y'all leave. Because what had happened is they found out that Daddy Withers had gave them some wrong information. They got upset. Brother John, as the picture showed, that I said to him after leaving Mars, Mississippi, I said, well, listen, let me go to Washington, D.C. based on the Poor People's Campaign, and I'll be that person and head up that group of the invaders as the prime minister based on what Dr. King wanted from the invaders as it relates to the militant movement and stopping anything that was going on in Washington, D.C. at Resurrection City. Of course, Resurrection City was 2 pieces of plywood with some plastic over it between the Lincoln Memorial and also the Washington Monument next to the reflection pool. And as you saw there, it was raining on us, it seeded the cloud and rained on us every day. But there was not one fighter disturbing. Now, the FBI and everybody was trying to attack this and come in and start to mess. But Andrew Young said in the Mason Temple, when it was all over, he said, be it not for the invaders, we would not have had a successful and peaceful demonstration in Mars, Mississippi. So let me tell you this also, and I'll sit down. Some of the information that in my life, we put it in this little booklet there. And also, too, we got a few more copies of the montage, photo montage, which consisted of my life and struggle that I've been in, which has been very intense. You can do this. You can Google Land Sweet Willie Wine Watson, and you will see f.b.i. report, Secret Service report, memos to the Secret Service, memos to the military intelligence, and I'm still under surveillance right now, more so now than I was back during the 60s, because I know more now, because the trip now have included 26 years at the United Nations, so I know what they're doing up there. It's coming down here now. Agenda 21, Garden Plot, cable splice and all that, that's what you're seeing. Look out for martial law, it won't be long. All of these things are about to manifest themselves. So basically, that's what we are in terms of, and it's been 48 years out here, 7, 8 years old now, can't hardly, but I'm still out here struggling, fighting against the fluoride because it's a carcinogenic. All right, they're putting the fluoride in the water, dumbing us down, attacking our cellular structures. All the sickness we have, Memphis, and I'm gonna say this, Memphis is leading the nation in illness. Leading the nation. Why are we the sickest people in the United States? In Memphis, Tennessee, we're leading the nation in asthma, all kind of diseases. You'd be surprised. We're leading the nation because it's systematically done, and I'm closing, because this is part of the North American Union, Canada, Memphis, Tennessee, United States, and Mexico. The North American Union, we are on a new world order. Thank you very much.
Back in the day, my name was Grant Hudson. Now I changed to Jabril Shabazz. And I was invader before the name Invader became Invader. In 1967, when I joined the organization, I told John, I was in the military, I was in the Air Force. I came back home and I told John in the back of Carver High School, that brother, when I'm out of the military, that's the organization I will be faithful for and work for, you know. So, and that's what I done. I joined the Invaders in '67. I got some letters, you know, that was telling me that the Invaders had a riot in Carver High School. You know, it wasn't invaders, but you know, the name came up as the invaders. And John said politically, they stuck at the name. That's the name that took off. So I didn't get back home until 1968 in January. When I contacted with John, reconnected with John at that time. And came with the rest of the guys, you know. And but a lot of people don't know me from the streets at the time because I wasn't here. When I got discharged from the military, my discharge date excuse me, is April the 4th, 1968. That's my discharge date. When I come back, I came back to the hospital that day. I was locked up. I was in prison. They locked me down. That's why I got back to America. I don't know whether Martin King was assassinated before I got here or assassinated after I got here because I was in a hospital situation and Leaky Bear shot me up with so much stuff. I don't know what it was. But that's what happened to me when I got back. So when I got back, John was in jail. Cal had gotten arrested downtown at the Howard House down there, inciting a riot. You talk to two people, inciting a riot, you know what I'm saying? So my wife was a student out of the University of Memphis, at that time, Memphis State. So by me coming back from the military, I joined the DSA. You know, my brother was a student out there, you know. And we all, that's when I came to know David and DK and all the rest, Sister Sunny and Johnny Cool, and a lot of other people who were around, because they were students out there. So I wasn't a student, but I was there. So that's how we dialogue, that's how we moved out there on the street. So, and I've been grateful that I've been able to amass acquaintance with, you know, these people. Because I've been in the movement, the so-called black movement, or civil rights movement, whatever you want to call it, all my adult life. And I've been faithful to it, and I'm continuing on. Thank you all.
You don't have to pardon me for not standing, but I have some cousins called Alvarado and John Lantern. And they work constant happy. I'm happy to see the women here tonight because what happens in the movement, we as women make it. And without us, they wouldn't endure. And they wouldn't be where they are. They locked all our men up. We had two deadly enemies, polices and pimps. And don't get it mistaken, both of them were deadly enemies. We had to be in packs. We were unsafe if we traveled by ourselves. The pimps had a way of getting us and doing evil things, and the police did horrible things. It's horrible to be searched and manhandled by people that are bullies, whether they black pimps or white police. If I take you back to 1968, I will start with Dr. King did a speech. I've heard many speeches, but I've never heard the beginning of Dr. King's speech because he's talking about his beloved mule train and he's talking about poor people power. I'm 40-something years in the movement, maybe 50, I don't know. But anyway, somewhere between 20 and 25, I've become very active. But in this speech, he's talking about poor people in the Appalachian Mountains. He's talking about Che Savaras and the Mexicans and the migrant workers. He's talking about the Orange Grove people out in California. He wants all these people to get together. And in my mind, I'm imagining what it must be like for poor people to have power. I wasn't thinking about black power. I wasn't thinking about purple power. I was thinking about poor people power. And right now, deep in my heart, it still burns. I want to know what would happen if economically you did not make enough money and the federal government saw fit to come in with guaranteed income. Since Dr. King been dead, I haven't heard a politician refer to guaranteed income. I haven't heard my civil rights leaders refer to guaranteed income. And nobody wants to talk about poor people. And it's sad to me to know that tonight when I go to bed, there's a baby in the United States that's hungry. Thank you.
We want to thank you so much, all of you, for all of your contributions. And when I say contributions, I'm talking about contributions to our understanding, your contributions to making sure that this evening went as it should go, and the continued contributions that you continue to make. We are happy to know you, and we hope that this evening is a salute to a Solace mission, and it certainly indeed has been for me a good set of moments. So I thank all of you, particularly the minister for the church. So let's give him another hand over here.
On behalf of the invaders, we'd like to thank you.
What we're going to do is we're going to guarantee sometime soon our organization is going to do something that will give you the opportunity to have what you're doing now take place of this kind of stuff. Okay. All right. Because we're going to be doing something different. That's what I'm pledging as our group, and we'll be a different time in a different set of circumstances where we have day-long opportunity to exchange, to meet and greet, to eat and to share. And maybe out of that will come other kinds of writings and recognitions and those kinds of things. So we appreciate you for all of that. I told y'all earlier, there's a GoFundMe campaign that's owned by A.L.L to support A.L.L members and others going to Washington, D.C., going to Richmond, Virginia, and going even to Washington, D.C. for a visit to the newly opening African American Museum there, as well as perhaps to the White House. And that is, you can go online, you can see that campaign.